The UFC world thrives on drama, but not even the most seasoned MMA fans could have predicted the shocking turn of events that erupted when Ilia Topuria, one of the sport's most electric young champions, publicly floated the idea of retirement. The announcement, made with little warning, left fans in disbelief, and UFC President Dana White absolutely livid. In a sport where retirements are often used as bargaining chips or emotional reactions to brutal wars inside the octagon, Topuria's threat hit harder than most. Not just because of his undefeated record, not just because of his electrifying knockout power, not even because of his meteoric rise through the featherweight division. No, this one stung because Topuria, the UFC's Spanish-Georgian golden boy, was supposed to be the future. Ilia Topuria had just returned from a dominant title defense, one that once again demonstrated his ability to obliterate even elite opponents with calm precision and raw aggression. Yet, while fans were still catching their breath and already speculating about who El Matador would face next, Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski again, or perhaps even a move to lightweight, Topuria stunned the MMA community by hinting at an early retirement during a post-fight interview. "I've proven everything I needed to prove," Topuria said, wiping blood and sweat from his brow. "Maybe it's time to walk away while I'm at the top. I have other goals. Fighting forever is not the plan." The silence that followed was deafening. The media scrambled to confirm. Was this a negotiation tactic? A moment of heat? Or was Topuria genuinely considering walking away from a sport he'd conquered so quickly? Within hours, social media exploded. Fans were divided, some calling his move smart and strategic, while others labeled it a cowardly stunt or a massive letdown. Analysts, former fighters, and fellow champions weighed in with mixed emotions. Known for his fiery outbursts and no-nonsense attitude, Dana White has dealt with countless fighters over the years, some difficult, some delusional, some legendary. But Topuria's comments struck a nerve. According to insiders, White was blindsided. A source inside UFC headquarters claimed he didn't see it coming. He thought Topuria was going to be the next global superstar for the company, a future pay-per-view king. Dana didn't wait long to respond. At an impromptu press conference in Las Vegas just 24 hours later, White stood before reporters with visible frustration in his voice. "Ilia's talking about retirement." White snapped. "That's ridiculous. The guy is just getting started. He's got the belt, he's got the fans, and now he wants to walk away? Come on, that's not how this works." He continued, "This isn't just about one fighter. This is about legacy, about giving the fans what they paid to see. You don't get to win one belt and dip out. That's not what champions do." Ilia Topuria isn't just another name on the roster. To Dana White and the UFC brass, he's a marketing dream come true. Young, undefeated, charismatic, multilingual, and with two entire continents, Europe and South America, claiming him as their own. Spain sees him as their first true UFC champion. Georgia embraces him as a national hero. His popularity has exploded, both online and in packed arenas from Miami to Madrid. In an era where pay-per-view sales are increasingly reliant on star power, the UFC needs fighters like Topuria. Dana White knows it. So do sponsors. So do broadcasters. The UFC had reportedly already begun crafting a narrative arc for Topuria's legacy, building toward a potential superfight with Max Holloway or even a champion versus champion bout at lightweight. Promotional material was being prepped. Global tours were in planning stages. Endorsement deals were on the table. And now, all of it in limbo. Topuria threatening to retire isn't just a personal decision. It's a potential commercial catastrophe. At the heart of this controversy lies a larger issue that has long simmered beneath the surface of MMA: the ongoing power struggle between fighters and promoters. Unlike other sports with unions or collective bargaining agreements, the UFC operates under a system that heavily favors the promotion. Dana White calls the shots. Fighters are independent contractors, not employees. And while stars like Conor McGregor or Jon Jones have managed to flex some leverage over the years, most fighters have little power. Ilia Topuria may be attempting to change that. Some analysts believe his retirement threat is a calculated move to gain more control over his career. Bigger paydays, more say in matchmaking, control over his public image. It's not just about walking away. It's about staking a claim for respect and independence. Ariel Helwani, veteran MMA journalist, weighed in on the MMA Hour. If Topuria is playing chess here, he's doing it brilliantly. Dana's mad because he's not used to this kind of boldness from someone so early in their championship run. But Ilia knows his value. He knows he's marketable. He knows Dana needs him. Fan reactions have ranged from betrayal to support. Some believe Topuria owes it to the sport and to the fans to keep fighting. Others argue that his mental health and personal aspirations matter more. One fan on Reddit wrote, "This dude said he wanted to be champ. Now he's champ and he's running. We supported him on the way up. He owes us at least a couple more defenses. Nah, if he wants out, let him. Too many fighters stay too long and leave in bad shape. If he wants to walk away healthy and on top, I respect that." On Twitter, now X, hashtags like #TopuriaRetirement, #Dana vs Ilia, and #FreeIlia began trending within hours. Ilia Topuria responds, calm in the storm. Amid the chaos, Topuria eventually broke his silence. In a statement shared via Instagram, he clarified, but didn't exactly back down. "I love this sport. I've given everything to get here. But I'm more than just a fighter. I have dreams outside the cage. This is not about quitting. This is about balance, legacy, and doing things on my terms. I will talk with the UFC. We'll see." The message was composed, diplomatic, but firm. Topuria didn't sound like a man caving to pressure. He sounded like a man taking control. Behind closed doors, Dana White and the UFC matchmakers are undoubtedly working to resolve the issue. According to reports, Topuria has already been offered a massive financial incentive to stay active, including a headlining slot at UFC 309 in Spain, the first ever UFC event on Spanish soil. Whether he accepts remains to be seen. But Dana White's rage may also be strategic, a way to apply public pressure, to turn fans against Topuria if needed, to paint him as the guy who walked away. White has done it before, with fighters like Tito Ortiz, GSP, and even Conor McGregor. Topuria, unlike others, doesn't seem desperate for attention. He's not lashing out. He's not seeking headlines. He's methodical, composed, almost cold in how he's handled the backlash. That makes him dangerous, not just inside the octagon, but outside it. If Topuria does retire, or even takes a long hiatus, it sends shockwave through the featherweight division. Max Holloway, now holding the BMF title and coming off brutal wars, could be elevated back into a title picture. Alexander Volkanovski, recovering from recent setbacks, might get a shot at reclaiming the belt. Newcomers like Musa Evloev, Arnold Allen, and Bryce Mitchell suddenly have a clearer path to contention. The UFC's international growth strategy, especially in Spain and Georgia, takes a hit. More importantly, other fighters may be emboldened to follow Topuria's example, demanding better deals, threatening to walk, and asserting control over their careers. If the UFC loses its grip on its rising stars, the landscape could shift dramatically. This isn't just a fight between a fighter and a promoter. It's a showdown between the old guard and the new era, between control and freedom, between business and passion. Dana White is furious because he sees potential slipping away. Ilia Topuria is calm because he knows his worth. The story is far from over. Whether Topuria steps back into the octagon or walks away entirely, his retirement threat has already changed the conversation. And in doing so, he's exposed the fragile balance that holds the UFC's empire together. One man, one microphone, one sentence, and the entire world shook.